everyone, it's Karen from the Geordie Grandma. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to week 3 of the 10-week summer body challenge for over 50s, although you can join in if you're not over 50. If you don't know what it's all about, this is a collaboration with myself, at Busy Bee Marie, at Tina's Talk Time and at Maria Crocker. And we go under the name of the Transatlantic Housewives of YouTube. And we've got together to do this 10-week collaboration to try and lose a bit of weight, get fit and healthy and hopefully happier. And in my case, to also try and get my type 2 diabetes under control. So this is week 3 and the focus is on water this week. So I will be doing a little spot about drinking more water. But as usual, or as I've done for the last 2 weeks, I'll tell you how my week went. We'll do the weigh-in towards the end so you can see if I've lost weight or put weight on. I'll also tell you a couple of meals that I've had this week that I've really enjoyed. I've got some low-carb snacks to share with you. Well, not literally share with you, but to tell you about. And I'll also share with you what I've learned this week. So let's get into how my week's gone. Well, again, it was a bank holiday weekend. Again, we went out for something to eat. Now, this is something I need to work on because if I'm going to go out for something to eat, I need to find some places that are low carb friendly or have something that at least I can kind of adapt to be low carb friendly. I should have said I'm actually following the low carb / keto diet. If you don't know what that is, low carb, you have to stick to under 130 grams of carbohydrates. So you're basically not eating any bread, potatoes, rice or pasta, no chocolates and crisps. And if you're doing keto, you're definitely under 50 grams of carbohydrates a day and probably under 30. I don't often go lower than 50, but I have been around the 60, 70 mark. So, yeah, so as I was saying, I need to find some way of being able to go out for a meal to a restaurant and still kind of stick within the thing that I'm following. So this weekend that didn't happen, I'm afraid. We ended up in Pizza Hut, which was probably one of the worst restaurants I could have gone to. But Warren fancied pizza. He's also doing low carb. So we shouldn't have wanted it either. And we went to Pizza Hut, and there's not a lot in Pizza Hut you can have that's not got carbs in. I did have a couple of bowls of the salad, a couple of big bowls of salad that I had coleslaw on. And now I think coleslaw is low carb, but I'm not quite sure what they put in it. I had like lots of lettuce and cucumber, tomatoes, things like that. But I did also have 3 slices of pizza. It was the buffet lunch that we went to, so you could just go up and it was, it's basically all you can eat. But I did only have 3 slices. They didn't have a lot of vegetarian options. They never have a fish option. I eat fish, but I don't eat meat. So I had 3 slices. I had 1 slice that just had, it was a margarita, so it just had cheese and tomato on, and 2 slices that had veg on. And they were, the vegetarian options were really thick crust, which was not good. I ate the first slice, the thick crust, and then I thought, I'm actually just going to cut the cheese and the topping off the crust and eat that. So that's what I ended up doing. But when you're paying £20 to eat out, you want something more than the topping of a pizza. So that was a big fat fail this weekend. Not good at all. And to be honest, eating carbs makes me feel so bloated. And I have been, it's been getting less the bloating feeling, and I've been feeling good about it. So eating the pizza was a really bad option for me. I also made the mistake of buying a big bag of salted peanuts. Now, salted peanuts are low in carb. They're a good source of protein, especially for someone who doesn't eat meat. But the mistake I made was buying the big bag because I was taking some out and putting it into a bowl, like a little bowl, which wasn't very much. It was, less than a handful. And that should have been enough. But once you start eating salted peanuts, you can't stop. So I ate nearly 3 stone of salted peanuts over the weekend. I'm probably exaggerating a little bit with 3 stone, but I did eat most of that big bag, I have to say. So I'm going to have to stop buying big bags of salted peanuts, and we'll get on to nuts a bit later. We took the kids out on Sunday. We went to it was a local railway museum that had like lots of craft activities and stuff on for the kids that weekend, which the kids really enjoyed. But again, we made the mistake of not taking our own packed lunch, and the place did have tables where you could eat your own packed lunch, so I should have done that. Much easier to control if you take your own. But I ended up having a sandwich, which of course is bread. I had I think it was a cheese savoury sandwich, which I think it maybe had about 30 grams of carbs in. I didn't look at the I didn't look at the nutrition on the packet, but I'm thinking around that. So not a lot, but again, it's bread, and I'm trying not to eat bread. So that was a fail. I also had I work in a hospital in the office, and there's always a box of chocolates in our office. And to be fair, I've been there 12 weeks, and I think I've had maybe 3 chocolates out of the box in all the time I've been there. But for some reason this week, I really craved the chocolate. It was a big box of Heroes, so they're just like mini chocolates. But I've had 3 this week, and that's a slippery slope, so I need to knock that on the head. And I did notice, when I've been coming in from work, I've been taking my blood sugar. And I think I've told you before, if you haven't eaten for 2 hours, it should be between 4 and 7, when you don't have diabetes, and between 7 and 10 after you've had a meal. And that's the aim when you're type 2 diabetic, to get within that range. And I've been taking it over the past couple of weeks, and it's been around the 6.5 mark. But I've noticed the 2 days where I had the chocolates, it's gone up to 7.6. Now, I don't know whether that's just the chocolate, but it would be a bit of a coincidence that if it wasn't. So I'm going to have to knock the chocolates on the head. I'm going to have to be strong and not eat the chocolates when I'm at work. So it hasn't been a completely disastrous week, but it hasn't been the best week. And I've found that I haven't been writing everything down like I was the first week. I slackened off a little bit the second week, and I didn't write anything down this week. So I need to get back to that. I'm getting a little bit complacent with it. I need to know exactly what I'm eating. So that's how my week went, and I'll tell you later if I lost any weight or not. I did eat some nice things this week, some healthy things, some low carb things. And the first one, again, I'll put the picture here. The first one was my version of a kebab. Obviously, I don't eat kebabs because I don't eat meat. But this one, I use the Vivera shawarma kebab meat, which is a vegetarian kebab meat. Got very little carbs in it. In fact, I think it's under 5 grams, even if it's that. So I had that with, I did have a pita bread. We had the soft pitas. I think there's about 22 grams of carbs in one of these. But I hadn't had a lot of carbs that day, so I thought that would be fine. I was still well under the 130. So we'll put the lettuce and the tomatoes and the peppers and the cucumber and some onion and the Vivera shawarma meat into the pita bread. So it just looked like a kebab you would get from the shop, kind of. I think I had some pickles on the side of that, which have got very little carbs in, if any. And we also tried halloumi fries, which is the first time we've done the halloumi fries ourselves, because if you buy them in the shops, in the box, they come in like a breaded coating, so there'll be quite a lot of carbs in. But these were coated in, you slice it, and then you dip it in egg, and then you roll it in some almond flour that's been mixed with paprika and garlic granules. And then we put them in the fryer for about 15 minutes, and they were absolutely delicious. And I did have a little bowl of salsa on the side to dip the halloumi chips in, and that was really, really nice. I liked that. So I highly recommend that if you're looking for something low carb and tasty. You could always replace the, you don't need to have the pita bread. You could have just had the salad and the meat, the meat and the halloumi fries by itself, and it would have been just as nice. I also tried, I ordered some keto buns and some keto pizza bases from a company called Keto. I'll put the links below if you want to have a look at it. And you get 12 buns. I think they were £9 something, but you can freeze them. And they're quite a decent sized bun. I'll put a picture here. And you get 4 pizza bases. I think they were about £8. So they're not cheap, but if you want to stick to your low carb keto diet, then it's worth giving them a try. I have to say, the buns I'm not keen on. They are very, very chewy. I even struggled to like tear a piece of the bun off with my teeth when I was trying to eat it. So I found those a struggle, and I don't think I'll order them again. But try them yourself, make your own mind up. The keto pizza bases, they were nice. We obviously made our own. When you get the pizza bases, we put tomato puree on the base, then put some mozzarella cheese on the top of that, and then I put some onions and some peppers on. And I actually put on mine, it was a Richmond no meat burger, and I cooked that. I cooked the pizza, and then I cooked the burger separately, and then I cut the burger into strips and put it on the top of the pizza when it was done, because I just thought it would work better like that. And that was really tasty as well. I quite enjoyed that. The pizza base was still a little bit chewy, but I think because it had been in the oven and, warmed up, it wasn't quite as chewy. And I did find with the buns, one morning we did toast them and had them with scrambled eggs, and they weren't quite as chewy when they were toasted. So maybe if I did get them in future, that would be what I would use them for. But I did find the keto pizzas very tasty, and they were very filling. Right, really enjoyed those. And I think the keto bases have got like 1.2 grams of carbs in them, and I think they had 50 grams of protein in them. I need to have a look and see exactly what was in it, but like I say, I'll put the link below so you can go and have a look yourself. But I did really enjoy those. Now, I just wanted to share some low carb keto snacks with you, just in case you are following along with the low carb diet and you're looking for some inspiration. It is good to have some in. When you're type 2 diabetic, it's actually better not to snack throughout the day. It's better to stick to, 2 meals or 3 meals a day, because every time you eat, it raises your blood sugar. And the longer your blood sugar is raised, the worse it's going to be for you, because that's when it affects everything, like your eyes and your your nerves and things like that. So it's better if you don't snack, but we're all human beings, we want to snack sometimes. So I'll share these snacks with you. So my first go-to snack is a stick of celery with some peanut butter spread on it. This is just from Aldi, the foodie market, crunchy peanut butter, spread on celery, very little carbs in peanut butter. I don't know if I can see that. I think there's something like 1.8 grams of carbs in a serving of peanut butter. So that, spread on celery, makes a nice little snack. I definitely recommend that if you want something to munch on. The next one is a hard-boiled egg. Now, I really like hard-boiled eggs, and there's about 85 calories in a hard-boiled egg, although we're not potentially counting calories, we're counting carbs. There's no carbs in an egg. Hard-boil a few, put them in the fridge, and then they're always handy if you've really got a snack on something. Reach for a hard-boiled egg, a little bit of salt, job's a good one. The other thing that's really handy to have in the fridge is some Baby Bell cheeses. Cheese has got no carbs, so they are really good to snack on. But you have to remember that if you're trying to lose weight on low carb, things might be low carb, but things like cheese and nuts are really high in calories. So if you eat a lot of them, even though you're doing low carb, you're not going to lose weight, or you might even put weight on. So just be careful of how many you're eating. Don't go and eat 12, because that might not work. But a Baby Bell is really handy to have in the fridge. So talking about nuts, Mixed nuts that are unsalted are a good little snack. I tend to want, when I eat salted nuts, I just want lots of them. It must be to do with the salt. I think that makes you want to eat more. But unsalted mixed nuts, I don't crave more of them. I can weigh out 30 grams of mixed nuts, which is fairly low in carbs. I think it's 1.3 grams for a 30 gram serving. And I can stick to that and not want any more, and it satisfies me craving to snack on something. So mixed nuts are a good idea, unsalted ones. The other thing that I really like to snack on that is sweet is a Rowntree's 10 calorie jelly. I've always got jellies in the fridge because there's no carbs in it. It's 10 calories. You just, get the tub, get a spoon and munch away, and that usually satisfies me sweetness craving. And if I really want a nice pudding, have a jelly, put a jelly in a bowl, put some strawberries or blueberries or blackberries or raspberries in the bowl, or have all of them, and a little bit of single cream on the top. That makes a really nice pudding. It feels like you're eating a trifle, and it's very low in carb. But again, go easy on the cream because it does have calories in it, even though it doesn't have carbs. So I can highly recommend a pot of jelly to have in the fridge. Going back to savoury, avocados, they're a really good snack. Make up some guacamole, mash the avocado, put some lime or lemon juice in, put a little bit of chili in, whatever takes your fancy. And you could have that with the guacamole with like vegetable sticks. So the celery you could have peppers, slice some peppers up, slice some carrots up. Or if you're not going keto, if you really haven't had many carbs that day, you might fancy the guacamole with Aldi wheat crackers. These are really nice. They're salty, but again, don't eat too many of them. Each one has, I think it is, per cracker carbohydrates is 3.6 carbohydrates per cracker. I think there's 25 calories a cracker. So guacamole with some of those would make, 2 or 3, would make a really nice snack if you must have one. The last 3 things I've got are all sweet stuff. The first one is dark chocolate. Now I know not everybody is a fan of dark chocolate, but if you really wanted some chocolate, then this would probably satisfy your craving. And it's the chocolate from Aldi that I used to make the cheesecake last week. It comes in a pack, but it's not one big bar, so you're not going to be tempted to eat the whole bar. It comes in 5 little bars, 25 gram bars, and in each bar there is if I don't get these numbers exactly right, because I haven't got my specs on, they're 4.8 grams of carbs per bar, 152 calories, I think that says. So if you really needed something sweet, then that dark chocolate is an ideal little snack for someone on a low carb diet. The next 2 things are over 10 grams of carbs, but if they're a little bit more substantial. So if you've got some carbs to play with, then these could be ideal for you. The first one, I think I've showed it in one of the videos before, is some Callow dark chocolate covered rice cakes. That's what they look like. You get 6 in one of these little packets, and in each little packet they are 102 calories if you're counting calories, and they've got 13 grams of carbs in. But if you're having a cup of coffee and you fancy a biscuit, don't have the biscuit. Have some Callow rice cakes. They're not a biscuit, but they are a decent alternative if you really fancy something sweet. And the last thing is also over 10 grams of carbs, and these are Kind fruit and nut bars. They are 3 bars in a pack. I actually got these from TK Maxx and they were only $1.99 for the pack. If you buy them singly in the shop, I think they're about £1.50. So $1.99 for 3 was a really good deal. They look like that. So they're very nutty and fruity. You can get different flavours. They have a salted caramel one, is it salted caramel? Yeah, I think it is, which is really nice. But if you really want something that's going to take some chewing and make you feel like you've eaten something sweet, then that is a good alternative to eating a bar of chocolate. Those are kind bars. So those were my snack suggestions. To get on to the focus of the week, which is water. You know, if you drink more water, you're more likely to feel fuller and you're less likely to want a snack. And there was some research done, I think it was in that Fast 800 book that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Michael Mosley, I think he is, that wrote it. He says that, you know, there's been research done that is, you know, has proved that people who drink 2 litres of water a day against somebody who doesn't drink any water will lose more weight. And I'm not sure if that's just because if you drink more water, you'll feel fuller and you won't want to eat. Or maybe there's some scientific reason for it. I don't know. So it's definitely worth trying to up your water intake, which I have been trying to do. And I found that rather than drink water from a cup or a glass, I find it easier if I've got it in a bottle. So I've bought, well, over the months, I bought 3 bottles. The first bottle I had was a plastic water bottle that I've been using. I quite like the bottle because I like this little handle on the top. You know, I found it easy to carry around with this. But what I find with plastic water bottles is when you've used it for a few times, unless you're washing it out with hot water and soapy water each time, which is, if I had it at work, so I wasn't really doing that, the bottle starts to take on a weird smell. So I've stopped using the plastic water bottle. And I've bought myself a stainless steel water bottle. Now I got the plastic one at IKEA and I think it was about £2. I got this one at Aldi and I think this one was about £5. But stainless steel water bottles are supposed to be really good. They don't smell apparently, and they're supposed to keep your water cooler. I haven't used it yet. I'm going to take this into work tomorrow and drink from that instead. So that was my stainless steel bottle. Beside my bed, I have a glass water bottle. Now I really like the top on this one. The stainless steel one doesn't have like a little carry handle, which is the downside of it. And this glass one does have a little carry handle, so that's handy. It's got a nice silicone cover on it so it doesn't slip. So yeah, I keep that beside my bed, so when I wake up through the night, I reach for that. And when I wake up in the morning, if there's water left in the bottle, I'll drink the rest of the water just to make certain I'm getting plenty water in us. So a bottle I find much easier to drink from than a glass. The water just tastes nicer for some reason. Now I know water it's not always the most exciting thing. And if you're having when you're having your dinner or something, you might occasionally have had a glass of wine with it. There's nothing stopping you having a glass of wine with your dinner now, of course, even if you're on low carb. But what I've found is, in trying to get more water into us, is using a fancy glass. This is a nice kind of crystal cut glass that I got from Home Bargains for, I think it was £2 or something like that. It's got sparkling water in, some ice cubes and some slices of lime. And it just makes you feel like you're drinking a little bit something a little bit more substantial is not the word, but interesting, I think. And that the sparkling water counts as water as well, so that'll also help you up your intake of water. Get a nice glass, put some ice cubes in, sparkling water if you like it, or still if you don't, some slices of lime or lemon, and have that with your dinner, and it should help your water intake. Now the weigh-in. I'm just going to put on the screen here what I weigh this week. So I've lost £0.5 pound this week. I think altogether I've lost £3.5 pounds in 3 weeks. Now, as I've said before, for me it wasn't all about the losing weight. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm type 2 diabetic, I may not even have bothered. I'm quite happy with the way I look. Yeah, I'm overweight. I'm a size 18, but I'm nearly 60, and that's what it is. But because I'm type 2 diabetic, I need to do something about that. I need to get it under control, which was why I was doing this. I have been taking random blood tests, like I said, this week. I've had a couple under the 7. I've had a couple 7.6, 7.4. My morning ones, I've had it at 9.2 and 10. I've never been over the 10. And like I said before I started the low carb, there was a few times I was over 12, over 16, and even over 20 one morning. So it's going in the right direction. So I'm happy with that. But I think what I've learned this week is, because I'd only lost half a pound, I'm like, how can I do a video saying, you know, I'm doing this low carb diet, I'm doing this summer body challenge, and I've only lost half a pound. And it makes you feel like you're a bit of a failure. And I remember going to Slimming World years ago, and I've done Weight Watchers and every other kind of slimming group that you could possibly imagine. And you have to go in every week when you go to these things. You go to class and you get weighed, and you've either put on or you've lost weight. And I found when I was going to those things, because you'd get weighed before you went, so you knew what was going on. If I knew I'd put weight on, I wouldn't go. And if I'd put weight on a couple of weeks, I wouldn't go back. And of course, once you think, oh, well, I've put weight on, you know, I had a pizza or I had, you know, a bag of chips, that's it. You know, that's the diet over. And you'd go back to the way you ate before. And of course, you'd put the weight back on that you maybe had lost, plus more. So this time I thought about it, and I thought, this is why I don't want to call what I'm doing a diet, because the word diet kind of conjures up that image in your head that this is just for a certain amount of time. It's only until you've lost the weight. So it's only going to be for a certain amount of weeks or months, and then you can go back to the way you ate. And that's not true. That's why I've yo-yo dieted since I was probably about 16, and I'm 59. And every time I've just put more weight on. So I didn't want to call it a diet. I want to call it healthy eating. And it's something that I'm going to, I mean, not just me, anybody who wants to lose weight and keep it off. It's something you're going to have to do for the rest of your life. You can't treat it like a short-term diet. You've got to learn how to live with it. And I think that's a problem for a lot of people who go to slimming clubs and things like that, and who, you know, do their own diets. Yes, you can lose the weight, but once you've lost the weight, you need to find some way of maintaining that. You know, you need to find some way of not putting that back on. And if you talk to people who are naturally slim and don't really put weight on, they maybe, you know, go out and have a big meal and a blowout one night, but the next day they won't eat very much. You know, they'll cut back, they'll go back to the way they normally ate. They won't continue to eat, you know, the way they ate the day before. And that's why they stay slim. Probably their metabolism and the way they're built as well, but you get me meaning. So what I learned was I need to find some way of living with this kind of eating. You know, if I want to keep my type 2 diabetes under control and keep any weight off that I lose, I need to start thinking, you know, this is not a diet. This is something I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So I am going to, you know, go off track or fall off the wagon or whatever you want to call it. But it doesn't mean that I have to then, you know, immediately stop and go back to the way I was eating. I just need to get back on it. You know, tomorrow's a new day and all that. If you think about scientists, if they gave up the first time they failed on something, nothing would ever have been invented, would it? Because it takes lots of tries. So I don't want to try dieting every couple of months, stop start kind of thing. But if I do go out, you know, one weekend and eat a pizza, then it's not the end of the world. I just need to get back on track the next day. So that's what I've learned this week, that I can't just come on here, do this video and say, you know, I've only lost half a pound. I'm not going to say a bad week, because I don't like the fact that, you know, say, oh, those foods are bad. You're going to eat them. You know, you're just human. You're going to eat these things. So I'm not going to feel guilty coming on here or feel bad coming on here and saying, I've only lost half a pound. There may be some weeks where I put a pound on, I'm just going to say it. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. We're just going to get back on it and, you know, continue on, and hopefully we'll get better each time. You know, we'll find better ways of coping with it. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Marie threw out a challenge to us housewives, and that was to take a cold shower every day, or try for as long as you could with a cold shower. And I have been managing to do that for maybe 30 seconds each time I have a shower, and it does make you feel better. So this week it's my turn to throw out a challenge, and I think if you're feeling happy and you're in the right frame of mind, then it is easier to, you know, eat healthy or go and exercise. So my challenge this week to Marie, Tina and Maria is to go and take a photograph every day for the next week of something that brings you joy. Because I think if you can look back on photos like that, if you're feeling down, it'll make you feel happier. You know, if you're wanting to, you know, go and grab a bar of chocolate, or, you know, or something that you don't really want to have, look at these photos. It might make you feel a bit different. I know it has done for me. It could be a photograph of anything. It could be a photograph of, you know, a flower outside. Obviously your kids or your grandkids, or maybe your husband, or your wife. It could be a cup of coffee, you know, anything that brings you joy. So kind of think outside the box. I think sometimes it's the little things that bring you joy rather than the big things. That's why I'm saying, you know, maybe just a flower you pass outside, or a bird, something like that. So I'm challenging Marie, Tina and Maria to take a photo every day for the next 7 days of something that brings them joy, and then share them on their videos next week. And I'm also challenging everybody who's watching this to do the same. And you can share with us. You can send us the photos, or you can talk to us on Instagram, or just comment below if you want what photos you took, what brings you joy. So that's all I've got for this week's video for week 3. I hope you found it interesting. Next week we're going to focus on socialising, which is probably a good thing because it'll make us research what restaurants I can go to. I might include that in my video next week. So I hope you'll tune in. So I feel like I'm a TV programme. I hope you'll come back and watch week 4 next week. Don't forget to go over and watch Maria Crocker, Tina's Talk Time and Busy Bee Marie, and see how they did this week. We're all doing different healthy eating plans, so you might get some inspiration from their videos as well. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again next week, if not before. So bye for now.